Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Keith Robinson.
Welcome, y'all, to another edition of Digging Deep. I'm laughing and I'm smiling. I mean, I can't even get through it. Digging Deep with your host, Keith Robinson. We don't need a retake, y'all. I'm tickled to death because I'm watching TV and doesn't matter the genre. It could be a commercial, movie. And I got to looking and something said, look at the men. It grabbed my attention because it felt like something was lacking as I'm looking at the men in this commercial or movie or what's the guy that does the news? The meteorologist. So it got me to thinking, what's a man these days? You know, with women being independent, some women being the breadwinners. Where's the man? So it brought me up to this session. Man versus boy. Now, of course, you know, I'm going to go to the older generations where there was more testosterone, because they say, we're down to 50% testosterone now as men these days. But I thought about my grandfather, and I got out the car with him and he handed me the keys to go unlock the door. And of course he's standing behind me. Y'all know how it is. I don't know what it is. Like even when you're typing, if somebody's behind you, it makes it harder. You know what I mean? I don't know what that is, but it's true. So I'm trying my best. I cannot get this key in this keyhole. Now, Big Dad, as we called him, he's the patriarch, know-it-all, the man with the plan, the ruler of the whole family. And he says to me without missing a beat, I bet if I cut the lights off and put some hair around it, you'll get it in there. I'm probably 10 years old. I really don't know what he's talking about. But he laughed, so I laughed. It tickled him, so it tickled me. Now, a little later on, it's me, my granddad, and his wife, my grandmother. We called her Cynthia Mama. Little story behind that. One of her daughters was named Cynthia. That's Cynthia's mama. So our grandmother's name is Cynthia Mama. Rest her soul. Beautiful, strong woman. But I digress. We're sitting on the porch, and this guy comes by. I'm 10 years old. And my grandmother goes, woo! Got a lot of sugar in his pocket. I don't know what she's talking about. I'm thinking literal sugar. I'm 10. And this ain't no shade on the homosexual man, because what people do in their bed is their business. And I pass no judgment. I don't excoriate anyone for their sexual preference. So my granddad looks, Big Dad, and he goes, is that a purse, Mama, that he got? And my grandmother look and she say, I think so, baby. So you know old people. Baby, come here. They call the man over. And he comes. And first thing Big Dad says is, hey man, is that a purse you got? What you doing with that purse? Now, you know, men have bags, man purse, pouch. What's the thing you put around your waist? That thing? That too, right? Now, for these people, especially that man that's from a whole different generation, you can call it what you want, but what is he going to call it? A purse. So I guess we could say this guy is metrosexual. That's a term now, right? For a man that's not even homosexual. He's just metrosexual. Okay, got it. So as I'm thinking about it as a grown-up, I think back on that story and I say, Man, there's a lot of interpretation to be getting out of that, to get out of that. So it brought me to my father, another manly man that told me about being a man, sat me down and said, you have to be a man. Now, I had this discussion with him, and he says, regardless of what you do and how you do it, if it turns out good or it turns out bad, you be a man about it. Which means stand up, stand firm, be accountable, be strong. Got it, Pops. Rest his soul too. Which brings me to this. I come up to him and I say, hey, Pop, I got a question. Is a man supposed to cry? Heavy question, right? My Pops, his one line in self says, do you have tear ducts? Got it. I said, I got it. He said, hold on, though. Yeah, you can cry, but make sure it's only in front of a few people, if any at all. Because the first thing they're going to attack is your manhood. Got it, Pops. Thank you. Now, growing up, I got all this stuff. I'm thinking about it, and I say, I'm going to be a man. Matter of fact, you can ask my mate right now. The first thing my sister told us, let me tell you something about my brother. He is going to take care of his family, and he's going to handle his business because he's a man. Which reminds me, I'm in the grocery store, and I overhear this conversation with a woman probably in her 40s, maybe 50s. And she's with, I'm assuming it's her daughter. Could have been her niece or something like that, but she's from this generation. She's probably 20, tops, maybe even a late teenager. And there's a gentleman in front of me that had just gotten off of work, and you can tell he does blue collar work. He's got the shirt, the uniform with his name right there, and he's dirty from his job. It's probably soot, oil, whatever it is from his job. Now, me not even thinking, I'm thinking that man just got off of work. I think nothing of it. But I hear the young lady say, ooh, I don't want no dirty man. And I praise the heavens above that this woman, the older one, because you know how some of the older women are, they're worse than the young ones these days. But she says, baby, looking at that man, I know he go to work. Well, that was profound to me because it made me think about, well, what does the 20-year-old think a man is? He didn't have on any jewels. His pants probably wasn't hanging off his tail. He wasn't loud and abrasive and flashing his money in the line, pulling out a wad of money or on the phone talking loud or even on the phone on speaker about his next deal he's going to do, about the next bag he's going to get. And it made me think, somebody has confused that baby and made her think that's a man. That's not a boy. A man, that's a boy with his toys. Talking about his whip. Talking about the Forgiatos on his whip. About the partying that he's gonna do. About the plethora of women that he has. See, these days, that's a man. But where I'm from, that's a boy with his toys. Now, I'm saying that to say that little girl behind me, and I said little girl because a woman wouldn't have said that about a man coming from work, that he's dirty. So I know that's a little girl. And she says, remember, ooh, I don't want no man that's dirty. So you want a boy. And so I'm saying that to say, fellas, men are still men. And this society today, do you know, if you really think about it, they're trying to strip your manhood layer by layer by layer. I'm talking dominion that was God given to you. Here's some examples. Happy wife, happy life. It's cheaper to keep her. You think about that for a second. Well, if it's cheaper to keep her, that means you're giving up a lot. You're sacrificing a lot of your manhood just for happiness, for harmony. I heard this gentleman say, oh man, I let my old lady handle everything. She paid the bills and this and that. And I had to intervene because I'm a man. And I said, sir, that's not player. You've given your dominion to the woman. So I pose one question to you, relationship wise. How's that working out for you? See, what you don't understand is she lost respect for you and you don't even know it. Because I guarantee you, she's with her girlfriend saying, yeah, girl, this guy got me doing this and he got me doing, I do everything. That's not a man. Here's the deal. If there's something to be said, the first thing a boys do is say, I better not say that because it may do this and may that. The first thing a man's going to say is, well, I'm going to say it and let the chips fall where they may. Because you have to understand something. When you're in a household, even if you give the woman the rent or the mortgage and she doesn't go pay it, that's not her fault. It's yours. It's like a CEO. It's like an insurance wreck. It wasn't your fault, but you're at fault. See, it's your accountability. And I'm saying that to say, take the credit when it's standing, because you're going to get the blame if it falls. Men and boys. A lot of people, a lot of men, a lot of boys aren't going to agree with what I just said because they're like, man, I'm not taking no accountability for what she did. Sound familiar? Adam, wherefore art thou? See, being a man ain't hard, but being a man every day is. So it would behoove you to think like a man in whatever situation occurs. Don't be a boy. Stick your mouth out and pout. How many times you seen that? How many men you seen with their mouth stuck out, pouting? I can't stand it. Here's what men do. Oh, messed up situation fell in my lap. What am I going to do? Not, oh, this happened because of them. This happened because of them. Oh, this ain't my fault. That's boy stuff. A man says, okay, what am I going to do? And if I could offer you a piece of advice, be still and wait for your direction from the ultimate, from the one that made man. Wait for your instruction. He's built for it. You're built for it. But this world has made it almost wrong to be a man.
Show your support for the Marvinite Network by purchasing a tee by scanning the QR code above.
What's the show? Love and Marriage, Al Bundy. Remember the man's group he had with the t-shirt, with the circle, with the thing in it? What did it say? No, ma'am. You can go and make all your decisions. I'm not saying to not consult with the woman. That's not what I'm saying. Do that by all means. But at the end, consult your higher power, ask for your steps to be ordered, execute what was given to you, and then at the end of the day, you'll sit there and regardless of what happens, you'll say, I was a man in that situation. See, you have to understand something. You ever heard of a man boy? A grown man, but he thinks like a kid? I think that was a character in Snowfall or something like that. But it's true. Baby Huey, a big grown man, but thinks like a kid. You ever been around a man and all he talk about is, whoa, can't wait to find me a woman. We going out tonight, get a woman. Finna go get me some of. Brother, what else you got on your mind? Because a boy can go do that. I want to be around somebody that makes me go, now that's a man. Hey, man, you know Keith Robinson? Yeah. Oh, that's a full-grown man right there. Because I don't make little boy decisions. Got a story for you. I'm getting pulled over. This is probably 30 years ago. 25. I'm getting pulled over by the police. Now watch this, y'all. He says, boy, where you going? Now I got my two sons in the back. One's 6, one's 4. And the first thing I do when that man said that to me, I looked up in the mirror and I looked at my two boys and they're looking at me and they're looking at him and they're looking at me and they're looking at him. I made a choice, y'all. A man choice. I said, with what I'm about to say, with my response, I'm either going to go to jail or I'm going to get beat or both. But so be it. Because here it comes. Because I'm a man, remember? And I said, sir, I don't know where you from. But where I'm from, boys don't get this age with a wife, with kids, with a job. Boys don't do that. Now, when I tell you I said that to that man, he turned beet red. Yes, he did. And I thought, get ready, because here it comes. And watch this. He backed up off my car and he walked to the back. Now I'm watching him in my rear view mirror. And I see him back there contemplating something. I'm thinking he's contemplating calling back up for this whooping I'm about to get. But lo and behold, that man came back to my window and said, sir, can you step out the car for a second? I said, no, I'm not stepping out the car because I know the rules. You're going to get me in public and now all my rights. He said, no. Please, sir, just come step out the car for a second. And he takes me back to where he was standing and he looks me in my eye. Now, this is a white man. And he says, I'm sorry. I know what you were doing there. And I'm sorry. See, so in case y'all missed it, I was letting him know a man is not going to stand for his two boys to learn that it's okay for him to be called boy. See, that police officer realized that he was talking to a man and not a boy. I could give you a whole lot more examples, but I think that's a very pertinent one. So what I want y'all to get out of everything that I've said is this. Age has nothing to do with being a man. It's all about, because see, the same things come to a man and a boy. The only difference is you'll know the difference between a man and a boy by how he reacts to any situation, any given situation. And I'm going to leave y'all with something because you know I always do it. This time I'm going to do it at the end. I want to read something. A man, an adult, male human being. Simple, right? An adult, male human being. Okay? Now, let's look at the definition of a boy. It says, let me get back to it here. A child whose identity or gender, male, has not yet been identified. He is lacking experience. He has immaturity. So what does that mean? You've got boys that are immature, that lack maturity, lack experience, yet they have the funds or the finances that a man would have. Now you talk about a recipe for disaster. Oh, it's out there. Turn on the news and you'll see it. And they always say this: a man goes out and kills 5, 6 people. That ain't no man. That's a man boy. I could give you plenty more examples, but I just wanted that to seep in there. Let that marinate. Age has nothing to do with a man. Material items have nothing to do with being a man. Your financial level has nothing to do with being a man. Now, I say nothing. Yeah, they're factors. You got to have finance. But just because you have it, that doesn't make you a man. Do you have maturity? We know what it is. Don't make me go and read it because you know I will. Maturity is this: your reaction to something, a stimuli that comes into your environment. My mother said this, and I'm going to leave y'all with this. She said, baby, when you turned 9, you never asked me for another dollar. And that's because that man that she was with, not boy, taught me at 9 to be self-sufficient. How many men out here are not that? Because guess what? If you're a man out there and you're not self-sufficient, then you are not a man. You are a boy. And I'm going to leave it right there because I could go on and on about this because I'm very adamant about it. I'm tired of seeing men being knocked down for being a man. And I'm tired of seeing boys put up on a pedestal because of their possessions. We ain't going to let the world do us like that, are we men? Because we still know a manly man when we see one, don't we? I'm Keith Robinson, digging deep on the Marvel Knot Network.